It is a great time to be an Until Dawn fan, now that the massively popular video game is getting its Hollywood break. Hello, and welcome to another marvelous video, fam. Developed by Supermassive Games, Until Dawn is a very critically acclaimed video game that draws inspiration from a number of horror movies. The game was made with a certain cinematic flair, meant to terrify the player and add in a real fear factor. The script has been exceptionally praised for being done very well, and as a game, Until Dawn has seen tremendous success from fans all over the world. The interactive survival horror theme is something that really made it stand out, amidst a plethora of other horror-based games. It was somewhat expected for Until Dawn to get a Hollywood release, since production studios often look out for exceptionally cinematic games to adapt them into movies. Now that it is set to hit the big screen, can director David F. Sandberg replicate the success the game has seen for the film? We expect the movie to certainly be a great addition to the slasher horror genre. Some details have been released, and the filming has reportedly been concluded as well. Here is everything you need to know about Until Dawn's live-action adaptation. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. What's the plot of Until Dawn? Will it stay true to the game? For those of you who are not familiar with the game, here's what you need to know. It is an interactive horror drama made for PlayStation. The storyline follows a group of young adults who decide to camp at a remote cabin for a weekend, when they are terrorized by a group of violent and blood-crazed monsters who are outside. They have to make it until dawn, when the monsters would no longer lurk around, and they can safely make their way back home. Some players like to term the game as a choose-your-own-demise setting, with a butterfly effect. This essentially means that every little choice made in the game by the player, since it is interactive, will have a massive effect later on, and there can be any number of endings based on the different choices made. The player can purposely or accidentally make choices that will end up killing every other character, but the game will just continue. Naturally, it became extremely popular, and now that it is set to hit the big screen, the details of the plot have not exactly been made public, since it is set to be an adaptation of the game, as reported by The Hollywood Reporter. We can imagine that the plotline will stay true to that of the game, for the most part. However, it is not certain how the film will follow through until the end, considering that the game had a number of different endings based on the choices made by the player. Of course, a movie can only have one ending, or maybe an open ending, but that remains to be seen. Fans believe that the butterfly effect narrative of the game needs to be incorporated well in the movie, and it will certainly be one of the most challenging aspects. However, it is also possible that the movie will follow its own narrative, instead of completely relying on that of the game, and create an entirely different outcome. Either way, we are pumped. Screen Gems, one of the production companies behind the adaptation, has described the film as R-rated, which is a pretty easy guess. They have also termed it as a love letter to the horror genre, which certainly sounds interesting. Slasher movies have been somewhat overdone, and they either have the ability to be absolutely outstanding or really, really dull. There is no middle ground for these movies, so it remains to be seen how well Until Dawn will be received by longtime fans of the game, who will certainly not take it well if their beloved project is ruined for Hollywood. 8 young adults reunite on the anniversary of their friend's death, which was kind of their fault, and they decide to come to the same spot where the tragedy had taken place. It is in the middle of nowhere, a remote chain in the woods along with mountains. Literally any normal person would respectfully decline the offer of joining this trip after listening to the details. But well, we would not have the game otherwise. Until Dawn is one of those games where you cannot really blame the protagonist for being stupid and getting killed, which is something we are all guilty of when it comes to the horror trope, because of the interactive nature of the game. No matter what choice the player makes, the chances of dying a really grisly death are always high. So, for those of you who constantly bash horror movie protagonists, time to step off your high horse and experience what it is like to be trapped in a sinister world yourself. Director David F. Sandberg has mentioned how he has been longing to do more horror films after Lights Out and Annabelle creation, and he hopes that Until Dawn can properly explore the different subgenres within the genre of horror to make it a uniquely terrifying experience for the viewers. The essence of the game will certainly be pressed on, but there will also be many new characters, so that the movie can serve as a good standalone introduction to the universe for any newcomer. This way, both seasoned fans as well as amateurs will enjoy the experience in the same way.
Okay, this is gonna be the way.
Who's in the cast? Will any game actors return? It is not known if any of the game actors will be returning to the movie adaptation. Academy Award winner Rami Malek had added a certain flair to the game, along with many others in the original game cast. But as of now, the only game cast member confirmed for the film is Peter Stormare, who will be playing Dr. Hill. The announced cast for the film has a bunch of newcomers, which also teases the possibility that the movie will not follow the original storyline, and the showrunners will devise a plot out of the premise. Ella Rubin was one of the first cast members to be announced, and she had taken to Instagram to express how excited she was to be working on the project. She starred in the Amazon Prime movie The Idea of You and had a role in Masters of the Air, which is largely considered to be one of the best Apple TV Plus shows. Michael Cimino was also announced to be starring in the film, and the actor said that he could not wait to make audiences scream in the theaters. He is very well known for his portrayal in Love, Victor, which is considered one of the most well-done queer shows of all time. Ji Young-yu is set to star in Until Dawn after delivering good performances in Moxie and The Sky is Everywhere. She had a recurring role in Sweet Home, a very well-acclaimed South Korean horror show. Deadline confirmed Odessa A'zion to be starring in the movie adaptation of Until Dawn. She is popular for having played roles in horror classics like Hellraiser. Maya Mitchell, Teen Beach Movie, and Belmont Cameli, along for the ride, are also starring in the film. Peter Stormare, as mentioned, is the only member of the original game cast to join the film. He will be portraying Dr. Alan J. Hill, the character he plays in the game, as well, the creepy psychiatrist who acts as a guide for the characters in the game. He has done notable work in films like Fargo and Constantine. The cast sure sounds fantastic and fresh. While it is not reported if any of the other game cast members will be joining, some fans presume that they might make a cameo or a guest appearance in the movie, which will be disclosed later on. Who's directing and producing Until Dawn? Until Dawn will join the long list of PlayStation games that have been adapted into movies and shows in recent years, with different degrees of success. Uncharted and Gran Turismo, released by Sony, did not exactly break any records or get a buzz going with their releases, but the 2023 HBO adaptation of The Last of Us proved to be a huge commercial and critical success, which has been renewed for a second season. Many more adaptations are set to come on the big screen, including Gravity Rush, Ghost of Tsushima, Days Gone, and Jak and Daxter. A TV adaptation of God of War has also been confirmed, but there are very little details available. David F. Sandberg is an accomplished name in the horror genre, having become popular with Lights Out and peaking with Annabelle Creation. After this, he had helmed both the Shazam movies. He also has several short horror films to his name, which have also defined his career. He is no stranger to big-budget films, thanks to his extensive work, and this already makes him a suitable candidate for handling a project as big as Until Dawn. The script for the movie was originally written by Blair Butler and is being reviewed by Gary Dauberman, and fans know both of these are big names in the horror industry. Dauberman has written all of the Annabelle movies and The Nun, in addition to co-writing Stephen King's iconic adaptation of It and its follow-up, It Chapter 2. Blair Butler has worked on various projects like The Invitation. The screenwriter and director have worked together in the past to deliver good results. So if you ask me, the film sounds like it is in good hands. All the names associated with it are seasoned horror masters who can deliver a truly electrifying and spooky experience. When will Until Dawn be released? The film began its principal photography on August 5th, 2024, and wrapped up filming on October 4th. The director announced this with an interesting post on Instagram, featuring a mirror stained with blood. The movie is set to hit the big screen on April 25th, 2025. Marvelous verdict. Fans of the game are eagerly waiting to see how the movie pans out. Usually, gamers are less than enthusiastic when their favorites get adapted to the big screen, and for good reason. The film adaptation of Borderlands left most fans disappointed, even considering that it was not a horror game. There is a general trend of filmmakers not doing very well when it comes to game adaptations. However, considering there are experienced people working on Until Dawn with a fresh cast and an amazing storyline to begin with, it can be assumed that the movie will not fail to impress. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.